Welcome to Perspectives on Live. Women representation in the science, technology, engineering, and math field is extremely low, with the number of men vastly outnumbering the number of women in this field. But STEM is not an absolute essential for women to enter the energy sector, says Jane Liao, who is Vice President of Taiwan CPC Corporation. Jane is a chemical engineer herself. Hi, I'm Surbhi Sahu. I'm an editorial lead at S&P Global Commodity Insights, and Jane is here with me today, who will share her thoughts on how we can increase the representation of women in energy. She will also shed some insights on the LNG markets. Welcome to Perspectives Live, Jane. So, starting off, tell me, Jane, what are some of the roadblocks that are faced by women in energy, and how can we remove them?
Well, the roadblocks, I think it's not just in energy industry, but if we intended to bring in more younger generation, in particular the female employees to energy, I think at least they have to study something related to science, technology, or engineering or math. And this is all the majors that we need in this energy industry. But of course, there are something else. It's not just STEM. Also, energy industry not just need these people from STEM, so other aspects as well. But they are all welcome to join the energy.
Thank you for that, Jane. Can I move on and ask you how can we support more women leaders and leadership for women in energy?
Well, in my opinion, to be a leader or not is not so important. But the most important thing is that how your expertise or your capability can be recognized. And this is your reputation in your career. So to become the leader wouldn't be the only choice. But once you are recognized, someday you will become the leader.
Right. You've had a tremendous career so far, Jane. So, have you encountered any biases in your career so far? And if so, how did you actually overcome them?
Well, the bias, I think, is nothing to do with the gender. But everyone knows that there is always the office politics. I think that matters. So the gender still not an issue in my 39 years in the energy industry.
Right. An important point to remember for all you entering and progressing or wanting to do that in the energy sector. Now, moving on to LNG, Jane, the dynamics in the LNG markets have changed after Russia's invasion of Ukraine and more recently the Middle East conflict. How has the change come about and what are the changes?
Well, in our case, at least 75 to 80% of our LNG coming from the long-term basis. So even we are encountering that kind of dispute or the geopolitical risk, I think we are still quite safe. So it really depends on what is the percentage that you rely on the spot market. So if we are the energy imported country, normally we heavily rely on the long-term supply. That will provide us with the reliability.
That's a good point. How important do you think is Asia in the overall LNG growth story?
I think it will be still growing, but it might be affected by the government's policy. Let's say in Japan, probably there's a nuclear energy or not. So with or without, that will affect the demand of the LNG in this region. So I think even Korea and Taiwan, we also face that kind of choices with or without nuclear.
Do you think LNG prices have stabilized or do you think they will be volatile in future as well?
Well, traditionally LNG contract linked with the oil index. So when the oil price is supposed to be going down as people forecast. And I think oil link is still quite reliable. And for the JKM or Henry Hub or probably TTF, it would be applicable to the spot or short-term supply.
Thank you for that and your valuable insights today, Jane. That's all we have time for. Stay tuned in for more live videos on the Women in Energy theme. Goodbye.
Goodbye.